Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Excuse moi. Hello. What's going on, everybody? What's happening? It's your boy. Okay. Where do we even begin? All right, let's look at some, hey, Nippity, how's it going? Man, it's going. It's going. I'm gonna try to, oh my God, this is an oxymoron. I said I would never do this again after my last experience. For those of you that don't know, I typically follow a build guide. And I've complained a million times over that I'm never going to learn. So one league, I think it was 2 leagues ago, I'm like, screw it. I'm diving in. I don't care. And actually, it didn't go that bad. But then someone told me, oh, there's someone doing a build similar to what you're doing. I forget what skill I was using. So, and then I gravitated to that build. But I want to learn the goddamn game. The only way I'm going to do that is by doing my own build. So I watched the reveal, like most of you that are into PoE 2, And hold on, I'm trying to find the part. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay. This part right here. The Wyvern.
It wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire, after all. Rolling magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well.
It's coming up.
So it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
Hey, Tiny! How the hell are you, Tiny?
But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours.
It's a nasty part.
Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite.
Oil barrage.
If you have power charges, though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range.
So
you're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill.
And I'm like,
in order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities.
Yeah, wolf.
As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies.
Right?
Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your Wyvern form to enhance your damage.
This is not
Making things wet also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well.
Come on.
Now, this last Wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it.
This is what hooked me right here.
Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so you have to take full advantage of them.
Oh, when I saw this, I'm like, this is what I want to be.
After all, so fly around and burn in it.
Okay, so Wyvern. It's probably Wyvern. This is the build I want to play, right? I'm gonna try Druid. So I kind of sat on it. I'm like, do I want to play Druid? It's really not a play style that I like, but it is a new class, and you know, I like to try all builds. I've tried them all. I am becoming a dragon. Yes, we're going to be a fire dragon shaman, however you pronounce it. So I started doing some research, right? Like, there's no way I can do a build 100% blind. I'm always going to research the shit out of it. And I found a video on a guy that fire dragon. I'm like, okay, beautiful. And he's like, the shaman works, the ascendancy works. I'm like, oh my God, awesome. And so I took a shit ton of notes. A shit ton. Through that video and through like PoE2DB, Reddit, you know, and so this is what I come up with. Now this stuff here is, I just put it there because this guy, the video that I watched, so I put it there as a reference. I don't know if I'm going to use it, whatever, we'll see. Obviously Flame Breath for sure. I want to use, that's the main skill. That's what this build is built around. So I'm hoping we can kind of plan something. So it's a fire dragon shaman. It scales, ignite, and rate. And guys, like, put holes in this. Like, give me your knowledge. Give me your knowledge here. Okay? I'm a noob with this kind of stuff. So ignite and rage scaling, flame breath with explosions. And we got to stack rage, and we're going to stack rage through a lot of the, so there's a shaman notable, and there's also stuff on the tree that helps us stack rage. According to this guy, again, this is all information, whether or not we use it, but it's just, the guy sounded like he knew what he was doing. we're gonna find out. So I kind of want to use this to kind of help shape what I'm gonna do. So we need 90 to 100% increased rage to utilize, which means we need tier 1 and a tier 2 mana regen on affixes on a ring or amulet. There's a bunch of notables, stuff on the tree, blood magic, battle trance, unforgiving. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna see where it is on the tree. Now, I did find something on Mobilytics. How accurate it's gonna be, we'll see, but we're gonna get there. So here's some of the things he was saying, right? He got into the skills, okay? And basically, for a single target, he uses Hammer of the Gods, Armor Breaker, there's Oil Barrage and Elemental Weakness, and a bunch of stuff, right? For defense, it's Armor and ES. Why can't I move over more? Here we go. So defense is Armor and ES. This is a Strength Int. Druid is Strength and Int, so that makes sense. Other notables: Ancient Aegis, Reinforced Barrier, Stack Max Life as well, Zealous Oath for life mana regen, and also all these other things, right? He talked about Cloak of the Flame, and he mentioned the Shaman notable, Avatar Evolution, and Reactive Growth. Now, only thing I have on the Shaman thing is from this video. But here's kind of my plan of attack, okay? I want to see how legit this is. So, not sure if you watched the Talkative Trinary, but they reworked Flame Breath and apparently stacks Ignite now, so the gem shown might be outdated. Okay, Nepity. Hold on. Let's pull it up. Thank you for saying that. Druids. Okay, is it over here? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so where is it? Wyvern. But they reworked Flame Breath, apparently stacks Ignite now. So you're telling me Dreamcore made a video on it? Really? Okay. Let's look into it. This one? Oh, Flame Breath looks insane.
Luxury Casino Ontario, always highest win rate. Why would you play anywhere else?
A brand new Planet Fitness is opening near you. Join the judgment-free zone today for access to tons of brand new equipment. Start getting that big fitness energy for zero enrollment and then only $15 a month.
Opening soon in Aurora. Hurry, this pre-grand opening offer ends December 12th.
Path of Exile 2's 0.4 update is launching in just 3 days' time, and last night we got an insightful interview from Talkative Tri with game director Jonathan Rogers. Now, there was quite a lot of information packed into this interview, but I want to focus on one part in particular where Jonathan is discussing the new Wyvern's Flame Breath ability.
This is perfect.
So for example, the Wyvern Flame Blast in its kind of default incarnation. So this is just aside from totems, right? So this is the one where the Wyvern flies up and starts burninating everything. In its sort of default incantation of that, it's an ultimate, really. You should be using it as like a boss ability if you get the opportunity. You know, like you heavy stun the boss, you start burning it. And the way that one works, by the way, is that it actually stacks ignites that add together. So unlike other ignite in the game, which you have to do a big hit, this is a type of ignite where like every time you hit them, the ignite grows and grows and grows and grows. So like that one there is like a kind of interesting thing with that particular thing. So it actually works really well against bosses where you can stack the ignite really huge. But we also wanted to make sure that ability, if you want to, you can do a build which is going to get you to the point where you're just like burninating like the whole map, like you're just continuously flying around in the air for ages doing things. But it does take, like, you need this unique and you need like a few things. Like to get to the point of you're doing that, it does require a little bit of effort.
So this is an unprecedented mechanic for Ignite in Path of Exile 2. Usually, Ignite is an ailment that only stacks a single time, and only the most damaging instance of Ignite on the target will deal damage at once. But Jonathan here says that the Wyvern's Flame Breath will stack Ignites so that you can deal more and more damage. Now there's a few different ways that this can be interpreted, and the exact way that this skill works will be very important. The first would be that Ignite actually stacks in count from this ability, somewhat like Poison without a maximum limit, which would mean that each instance of Ignite has its own individual duration, and each instance also has its own damage, and the damage from all of those stacks is added together for a final DPS from Ignite on the target. The second would be that there's a single Ignite, and each application of Ignite adds to the damage of that Ignite. This would also mean that the Ignite duration would constantly be refreshed as it keeps being reapplied. This is the most favourable interpretation, and I also think it's the most likely one to be true. However, a third interpretation could be that there's a single Ignite, like the second scenario, but each application stores its total damage and duration within that Ignite. So even though there's only one Ignite, the damage could still fluctuate and go down once the duration of individual applications time out. Which one of these interpretations ends up being true will be important for how good this ability actually ends up being, but let's take a look at some numbers. Now this is a level 13 gem, which requires a level 52 character, which is likely when you're able to first access the skill. I think the only stat that's likely to improve on this gem with levels is the base attack damage, which is 70% on a level 13 gem. The mana cost will likely go up, and the rage cost may also scale up. Notably, this rage cost is ignored for the first 4 seconds, and we don't currently know if that means you'll be able to activate it if you don't have any rage. So, base magnitude Ignite in Path of Exile 2 is 20% of the igniting hit per second for 4 seconds. This skill has 750% more Ignite magnitude and 70% base attack damage. So, Ignites from this skill will deal 119% of base attack damage per second for 4 seconds. That means that each Ignite will deal 476% of your attack damage across the full 4-second duration. Now keep in mind that this is an attack that uses your equipped talisman to deal damage. We don't know much about talismans just yet, and we don't know about the modifiers that they'll be able to roll. Presumably, being two-handed martial weapons, they'll be able to roll basic modifiers like local increased physical damage and increased attack speed. We have this example talisman on the reveal page. This one has 1.3 base attacks per second, which can likely be scaled up with an increased attack speed modifier, but let's just go with that 1.3 base. With 800% attack speed, you'll have 10.4 attacks per second, inflicting 10.4 instances of ignite damage per second. So at exactly 4 seconds into the channel, you would have inflicted 41 instances of ignite damage, dealing a total of 4,879% base attack damage as DPS from ignite.
Jesus.
Presenting odd pieces.
Nice, Drake.
That looks so cool. What is it?
Now that seems pretty good, but here's the part where that interpretation of how the ignite stacking actually works is going to be important. Because if it's the most favourable scenario where it's just a single ignite with damage being added and the duration being refreshed every time there's a new application, That would mean that this number can not only go a lot higher, but that the damage can also persist for a long time after you stop channeling the skill. But if it's going to work as individual stacks, or if each damage instance within the Ignite is tracked for damage and duration, this is the point where those first applications of Ignite will begin falling off as their durations are expiring. Now, there is of course plenty of other ways to scale this damage, but the value of those scaling methods will also revolve around how this skill actually works. For example, Ignite duration is less valuable if it's a single Ignite that keeps having its duration refreshed, but it's going to be a...
So guys, can you help a noob out? Is it fair? Is this a fair statement? In order to use Flame Breath, it requires Rage. Rage is tied to whether or not you can use the ability. Number one. Number two, Ignite affects the duration and the damage. Per se. Is that true? So we need to build Rage in order to use the skill. And then, I keep forgetting the name of the skill. Flame Breath. The damage and the duration is based on Ignite, which is based off of like the physical and fire damage. Right? No? Like we're stacking Rage and Ignite like I first start, right? Sorry, Ignite and Rage. Felicio! LE next season is end of March 20. Kind of crazy. I know there's a new... Okay, guys. I know there's a new roadmap for LE. I have not looked at it, to be honest with you. I kind of been busy with other things. We'll entertain that topic another day. Might not need Rage for the first 4 seconds, but you need Rage to do it longer than 4 seconds. And yeah, looks like it scales off of Ignite damage. Okay, when you mean scale, you're talking about the scale of damage. Or are you talking about more than that? You're talking about duration too? Okay, so the principle, like what I discussed, where we need to stack Rage and Ignite, that spreadsheet, that still applies. Ignite duration and magnitude. Okay. 2 of you said it, so okay. Flammability magnitude is good, but not super important. Okay.
much more valuable stat if each stack has its own duration. But the crazy thing about this is that we're just looking at a level 13 gem here, and we're using the base speed of a talisman with no attack speed modifiers. So the actual numbers are likely going to be a lot higher than this with a high level gem and a decent talisman. Now, Flame Breath is not going to be a great skill for clearing monsters, unless you're able to overcome many of the restrictions, such as the seemingly giant movement speed penalty while you're channeling the skill, and the cooldown, and the rage generation. But for single target, this skill looks very strong indeed, especially if you're able to lock down the boss with a heavy stun or similar. I'll also note that Jonathan mentioned that Incinerate will have the same mechanics in 0.4 as well.
Oh, and by the way, with that Ignite thing, just because I saw you were kind of reacting interestingly to that, we are going to change Incinerate to use that system as well. So, yeah, like it's a kind of a different thing we're trying out.
So it seems like this is something they're testing for Ignite in general in PoE 2, and I'm not going to go into the numbers of Incinerate in this video, but that skill did get a small base damage buff in the patch notes, and the stacking Ignite will be a huge damage buff on top. And it will be interesting to see if they're going to roll out these mechanics for all of the Ignite applications in future patches for Path of Exile 2. Ignite is certainly one of the lacking archetypes in the game right now, and I think this approach and perhaps the inclusion of Ignite proliferation being a thing baseline should go a long way to making these types of builds a lot stronger. But that's going to be it for this one. I just wanted to cover this skill after the reveal of the stacking Ignite mechanic. I'm quite surprised that this information is missing from the skill gem info. It may be that this mechanic was only added very recently, but who knows. Thanks for watching this 13 gem, which requires a level
AoE sustained fire duration channeling. Convert 100% of physical damage to fire, 750% more ignite magnitude. Rage cost is ignored for the first 4 seconds of channeling. Okay, so who was right? Nippity. That's why you made that comment about the 4 seconds. Cannot gain rage while this skill is active. Okay, so there's clearly going to be a max duration depending on how much rage you have built up prior to it. Cannot gain rage while this skill is active. Well, you need 6 rage per second. So it's not an endless thing that you could do. Emulation radius is 2 meters. Empowered Flame Breath gains 50% of damage as lightning damage. Empowered Flame Breath spends rage 50% slower. Okay. Shapeshift into the Wyvern and take to the skies, emulating enemies with a jet of fire. Channeling ends after a short amount of time, but can be prolonged by spending rage. Consumes your power charge if possible to empower the skill. Okay, so you need power charges. You need power charges to empower it. Gaining extra lightning damage and spending rage more slowly. 9-second flame breath with 30 max rage. I'm very curious to know how did you get that? Like, to me, the first 10 seconds only costs 6 rage. That's assuming the first 4 seconds doesn't cost you anything, but it says right there, rage cost is ignored for the first 4 seconds of channeling. So 4 seconds go by, no rage consumed. Then if you only have 6 rage, oh shit, wait a minute. 6 rage per second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nine-second flame breath with 30 max rage. Okay, so 4. With a power charge, it doubles. Oh, that's okay. You're doing the. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Empowered flame breath gains 50% of damage as lightning. Empowered flame breath spends rage 50% slower. Six rage per second after the first 4 seconds. With a power charge, it doubles the duration. Oh my god. Yeah, it's I get everything but the 9. Hey, Funky. Okay. 9 is without power charge. It's 4 seconds free. Then 30 divided by 6 is 5 seconds. 4 plus 5 is 9. So 16 at 30 rage. Okay. Am I going to play Druid? I think I am. I think I am. You think there's going to be better classes for Wyvern Shapeshift other than Druid, but we'll see. Yeah, I've heard that argument, and the thing is, I just want to see how Druid plays out, right? Like we are going to have like the human form too, right? The spell casting side of it. How good that's going to be, I don't know. But I just want to try it out. If I fall flat on my face with it, then, you know, I'll do what I've done in other. I always make more than one build anyway on a league. That's what everyone immediately says, Pathfinder, because of the movement speed penalty. Especially classes for rage generation. If you want to use it to clear. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think this flame breath, I have it the other way around. I'm like, there, you know, Dreamcore said the other way around, that no, he said what you said, you're saying, Nepity, that it's going to be for, you know, bosses, it's going to be awesome, but for clearing, it's going to suck. I'm thinking the opposite, but, you know, Dreamcore knows a lot more about all the skills and shit than I do. If you only use flame breath for bosses, you could do something else. Well, I was thinking, like, the one guy that I looked into, he used Hammer of Gods for single target damage. He was talking about, you know, elemental weakness.
Thanks for the raid.
Hey, FG Corbin. Thanks for the raid, man. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. What's up, FG? How you doing, man? What's going on? What's going on, man? What are you up to? You been theory crafting and stuff? Nice. Yeah, I'm hitting my head up against the wall. I typically follow build guides, so I'm trying to see what I can do with flame breath. What do you league starting with? Are you gonna give Druid a try? You're gonna be playing Monk? You're gonna be at some point. I hear ya. I hear ya. I know. I've played every class. You know, I've given them all a go, and I just want to try something different. I got to be honest. Like the Druid, my initial look at it from the content reveal, like it's not a play style that I gravitate to, but you know, I'm gonna give, you know, Wyvern a try. Like flying and flame breath, like that looks too cool. I gotta try it out. He has so much monk followers. He had to. You guys are cornering him into a corner. Let the man breathe. Let the man expand. Still should have some cool stuff. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, if you've done it 4 leagues in a row, you clearly love Monk. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with being known as the Monk guy. You know, it's worked for other people. I tried to do that with Sorceress, and well, we all know how the Sorceress gets no love. You can't stand casters. You got to get in there and slash and dash. Minions too. Yeah, I'm not a minions guy at all. Not a minions guy at all. I don't like it. I did play it. I did play it, but I want to be part of the action. I don't like standing back and letting other people do the work. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not a. Minions doesn't do it for me. I'll fall asleep streaming it. You like a big stick. Hey, what's up, Chris? Anyway, FG Corbin, thanks for the raid, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. I will return the favor, my friend. And I totally understand if you have to go. You're more than welcome to stay. Raiders, you're more than welcome to stay, but I get it. Everyone has lives. But thank you. Thank you, brother. And I wish you a very good 0.4. I hope your monk kills it.
Thanks for the follow.
Yeah, you too, buddy. You too. Good luck. Good luck Friday. Okay, boys. All right. So let's just piecemeal this together. I don't know how accurate this is going to be honest with you. Right? So I'm going to just see where all these notables are. Like where all these stuff is. So let's start off with battle trance. Oh my god, it's all the way down here. Okay, that's not a good one. How about fulmination? Like I do. So here's my thoughts. Either we go mana regen, but to be honest with you, I'm thinking in human form, we're gonna need the spell damage. I think we actually need this resilient soul. Okay. So what else? Okay, we know we got to go down here. %40 increased damage with hits against ignited enemies. And there's the flammability magnitude. I'm thinking these are all going to be int. And then we'll just do enter strength. And then we'll just do fillers for dex if there's any requirements on the gear. Okay, let's fuck around with this. Melting flame. Okay, we'll go here. And this one will give us enemies ignited by your permanently take 1% increased fire damage for each second they have ever been ignited by up to a maximum of 10%. Okay, sigil of fire. We're just spitballing, everyone. Yeah, Nepity, correct. This is we don't have an accurate tree, right? %30 increased damage with hits against ignited enemies. I'm just seeing how it's going to pan out. Obviously, this isn't... Even though Mobilytics does have... Like... It does have... Like... The Last of the Druids. 0.4. Druid. It's got Shaman. Like... But again, who knows how accurate this is. Yeah, I just want to see if all these things that I gotta grab on the tree, if it actually like moves right, and I'm not like fucking all over the place, right? Again, this is all gonna change. Like, there's nothing in here, right? None of the ascendancies are here. This is actually wrong, right? Even just the look of it. If I remember correctly from the video, there's stuff that comes out this way. There's 2 branches. But again, this is just a rough, let's see how it looks kind of thing. You know what I mean? And obviously I want you guys to throw in your input here. Okay, what did we just grab? Okay, we did grab Sigil of Fire. Okay, Burning Nature. Where the fuck is that? Okay, Burning Nature is right here. So this is increased fire damage, increased ignite duration on enemies. Okay, so far so good. Emulation is up here, right? Okay, so so this is all fire, reduced magnitude of ignite on you. Okay, so we're probably going to come up this way, right? This is all reduced. Oh, wait a minute, it's all reduced. Ooh. Ignites you cause are reflected back to you. 40% reduced magnitude of ignite on you. Okay, self-emulation. Oh, wait a minute. We got emulation. That's self-emulation. That's wrong. This is what I want. So this is going to give us flammability, magnitude, increased ignite, 10 to strength, 25 ignite magnitude. Okay. So emulation, not self-emulation. Oh my god. Okay, so far so good. Now we want battle trance. That was the one down here, right? Fuck me. Oof. What does this do? Oh! Okay, we definitely want these. These are all rage. Yes. Okay, and we got a jewel socket here, and I think there was another one up here. Yeah. We got 2 jewel sockets. Okay. Where is Unforgiving? It's over here. And this, again, rage. And rage is 20%. Inherent loss of range is 20% slower. Okay, 1 second. We got another jewel socket. What else do we got here? Okay, now for defense. For defense, so we're gonna go Ancient Aegis for armor and ES. Increased armor, increased energy shield, increased energy shield, increased energy shield. Hey, Riffraff! Hey, Funky Flavor, you don't want to try Oracle? Has good defense nodes. Hits against you are unlucky. No, there's a couple of ascendancies on the Shaman that work with the fire build here with the Fire Dragon. That's why we're going Shaman. I was gonna play around with limit items and few have totems generate rage for flame breath. Ooh. Well, let me know what you come up with, Felicio. Okay. Okay, so far we're not out of friggin' all over. There's a lot of pathing here though. But what are you gonna do? Okay, what else did I need? We needed reinforced barrier, which is right here. Defend with 20% of armor while not on low energy shield. 20% increased max ES. What's the quickest way here? Yeah, probably here. Go int. Then here. Then here. Again, we're just spitballing, everybody. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, there it is. It's got to be this one. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So this one. Don't forget the armor applies to elemental damage if armor stacking. Armor also applies too. Yeah, we're doing armor and ES. So yeah, like we're gonna have to, like, there's a lot of opportunity here for strength and int with all this pathing, but they're linking up like not bad. Okay, so did I already get these? I did, right? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so we do want Resilient Soul. 20% increased life regenerate. 5% of damage taken recouped as life. What else did I find out? Stand ground. Stand ground. Again, regenerate life. And while stationary, regenerate 1% of maximum life per second while affected by any damaging ailment. Okay, plus there's life regen in there. Go in there. Okay. Hail Heart. It's over here. 15% increased life recovery. Yeah, hybrid. You don't want to try. Oh, yeah, rage is good. Oh, yeah, we need rage. We got to stack rage. Are you kidding me? We need it. We got to do ignite and rage scaling. Ignite and rage scaling. What did we just do? Hail Heart, and there's another one here. And then I need you guys to Prism Guard. Prism Guard is over here. 30% of armor also applies to elemental damage. So, nope. Yep, we want to come this way. We want to come that way. Hold on a second. Okay. Attack speed. We got it everywhere here. Spell cast by totems? Nope. Increased melee attack speed? Where is this thing? Okay. It is an attack. But it's not melee. %50 increased attack damage, 30% increased stun, 5% attack reduced. Reduced! Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. Talisman is a two-hander, right? It's a two-hander. Reduce slow potency on debuffs on you. Attack speed. 15% attack speed if you've been hit recently. 8% reduce slow potency on the... Is this the one you're talking about? Or are you going over here? No, those are totems. I'm assuming you're talking about this one, Nepity? These three? Actually... probably this side. Do we take unyielding? 15% increased attack speed if you've been hit recently. 3%, 3%. Yeah, that's a good one. All the other ones. I don't know if I want to trek all the way up there. Those are totems. Range on Flame Breath will probably cause you to get hit pretty often. Oh, shit. Okay, that's life regen. Great to hear. Thank you. Okay, we're not using axes. Flails, nope. Okay, I think we're pretty... Yeah, talismans are two-handed. That's reduced. I guess this is the only option here unless we want to come up here for dex and attack. That's going to cost us 3, 4. That's going to be like in the 6 to 7 range. And we're down to 28 points. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep this in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like that's 7 points to get there. What else? Okay, let's double check here. Rage. Are we maximizing rate? Maybe there will be new attack speed nodes with update. Just good to keep in mind. Yeah, no, thank you for that, Nepity. You're absolutely right. And I got to remember, this is not the actual tree. Yeah. Yeah. We're just spitballing here. Okay, there's more rage to be had. Let's hope. Yeah, we can't go fucking up there. Well, like if we come up here, then we can grab the attack speed and the rage over here. This would be easy to grab. Holy shit, this gives you rage when you get hit. Ooh. Vengeful Fury. Okay. What else, guys? What am I missing? And what are your thoughts on... Like, do I path this way instead? Like, when I start, I typically go with the offense. I guess at the end of the day, we can kind of feel this out. Like, we can go this way because we are doing armor and ES. We got to come to Resilient Soul here, and then we can just boom. So we can do a... We can do that. What are we on here? Oh, we're on Rage. Bestial Rage. No, I don't want that. Those are fucking good too. That slows down the rage. But if we're going to empower through charges, we'll see how good that works out. If it's not, then this is another option. Again, depending on what's here and what's not here. Gain 8 rage when you use a life flask. That's not good. Those are axes. Okay. Attack. Oh, we already did attack. What am I missing? Okay, so let's get out of here. And what did I call this? Fire Dragon Shaman. Save draft. Save as draft. We ain't publishing shit! Okay. Just so you guys know, this is my first time using this fucking Mobilytics. Equipment. How do I add equipment? No, I don't want a track build. How do I add equipment? Oh, edit. Thank you. Okay, so Cloak of Flame. Okay, guys, what do I want for my human form? Okay, let's start with... you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this. We don't have the talisman. We do not have the talisman. Why am I even going here? Yeah. Yeah. Let's stick to the tree. The temporary one. What happened to my music? Thank you. So, level 52 is when you get flame breath? Is that right? Yeah. How are we gonna level this puppy?
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll pick the ox.
Allegedly.
So this is an unprecedented mechanic for Ignite in Path of Exile 2. Usually, Ignite is an ailment that only stacks a single time, and only the most damaging instance of Ignite on the target will deal damage at once. But Jonathan here says that the Wyvern's Flame Breath will stack Ignites so that you can deal more and more damage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Now there's a few
That
different
bit
ways
rolling
this can be
magnet.
interpreted, and the exact way that this skill works will be very important.
Sammy needs
The
that
first
block.
would be that Ignite actually stacks in count from this ability, somewhat like Poison without a maximum limit, which would mean that each instance of Ignite has its own individual duration, and each instance also has its own damage. And the damage from all of those stacks is added together for a final DPS from Ignite on the target. Let's take a look at some numbers. Now this is a level 13 gem, which requires a level 52 character, which is likely when you're able to first access the skill. I think the only stat that's likely to improve on this gem with levels is the base attack damage, which is 70% on a level 13 gem. The mana cost will likely go up, and the rage cost may also scale up. Notably, this rage cost is ignored for the first 4 seconds, and we don't currently know if that means you'll be able to activate it if you don't have any rage. So, base magnitude Ignite in Path of Exile 2 is 20% of the igniting hit per second for 4 seconds. This skill has 750% more Ignite magnitude and 70% base attack damage. So, Ignites from this skill will deal 119% of base attack damage per second for 4 seconds. That means that each Ignite will deal 476% of your attack damage across the full 4-second duration. Now keep in mind that this is an attack that uses your equipped Talisman to deal damage. We don't know much about Talismans just yet, and we don't know about the modifiers that they'll be able to roll. Presumably, being two-handed martial weapons, they'll be able to...
I'm going to be honest with you, Nepity. I put Nova. I can't remember on which skill. I didn't like it. Like, it's just too busy. It was just... I'm like, oh my God. So I kind of tolerated it, but then for clearing, it was amazing. It was horrible for, you know, single target. You know what I mean? It was horrible. So I took it out. Physical accuracy crit. Base attack damage is physical and fire, which can ignite. I'm gonna have to like really look at this. Too much screen clutter. I could like after like it was nice, the clearing of, you know, clearing shit was great. But then it's like, okay, am I really gonna endure this? all through mapping? I couldn't take it anymore.
To roll basic modifiers like local increased physical damage and increased attack speed. We have this example talisman on the reveal page.
All right, let's
this
see
one
what
has
else.
one.
Werewolf. Spellcaster. What's that rabbit doing? Fubgun is doing poison, Pathfinder? Man, he cannot get away from the ranger, eh? Why Nova Falling Thunder Amazon might be the best shapeshifter. Poison Pathfinder.
And this video will cover everything from XP penalty, how to get the most damage, smooth progress through the acts, when to...
Sounds like we're going to be able to craft on uniques this league. Looking forward to it. Talking about the Val stuff. You know, oh, here we go. Where is it? Pathing a Witch Hunter Wolf Tree myself at the moment. 50 to 6-second duration on Arctic Wolf form. Looks fun. Yeah, and you're going to have like a gazillion of them, right? There you go, right? Like, so here's what we saw in the content reveal. So you guys notice this compared to this, which, you know, clearly this is not accurate, obviously.
Now with a new class comes new ascendancy classes. The Druid will have two options for now, with a third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
by allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spell.
Oh boy. Do I have that in my notes? Yes. Yeah. So this is one of the ascendancies. If we play this, this is definitely one we're gonna take. I wonder what these 1, 2. Okay, so we're gonna that'll be the second.
With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods.
Yeah, it all depends on what the extra mods are on the ruins. This could be a deadbeat too. But I don't think I'm
available to
go
the
this
Shaman.
way.
These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build.
Lone Wolf? Really, Nepity? Wow.
You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage. To the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless...
Shit, you're right. Fuck! But is that this might be a stupid question, but it just goes to show how much I know. Like, would that be worth it? Obviously, we need to see what else is on the tree. Like the crazy amount of magnitude there. I know 40% is fucking... I know, but the Furious Wellspring... that for sure I gotta take. Did I go past it? Like, that's a guarantee. No ands, ifs, or buts. And you can use 3 with Corrupted Weapon. Oh my god. Okay, the good news about this is when it comes to the ascendancies, like for sure I got a path the Furious Wellspring. So those are the first 2. Those are the first 2. Magnitude is basically crit damage for damage over time without needing crit damage. 40% ignite magnitude equals 1.4 times damage. Fuck! Stop talking, Nepity! I'm kidding. Nobody has been timed out. No, he hasn't. Oh, wait a minute. Without needing crit chance? I'm not stacking crit. So that negates it, doesn't it? I'm not doing any crit. %, ignite magnitude is double ignite damage, 200% is triple ignite, etc. Holy fuck. Hey Riffraff, I'm not much of a build crafter. Sometimes I make a build and I play it. Someone makes a build and I play it. That's me too. But I wanna I want to learn this shit. And the only way to learn is to fall and get up and fall and get up and look like an idiot and ask stupid questions. And I gotta persevere this. Isaac, go deeper to learn. Sounds like magnitude is strong. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Is it? You know, we are... Okay, how much do we got here? 25, 33, 41, 49. $49. 61, 73. Like, we're getting there. It's part of the process. You'll catch on, Sammy. Yeah, I don't... Thank you for the words of encouragement, Nepity, but there's so many layers to this game. This is what makes it so hard. And why this journey is going to be so long. And I throw myself in, and then I hit that wall once, twice, 3 times, then I'm like, I retreat back. It takes forever to learn. Yeah, it takes forever to learn. But Nepity's right, man. The only way is just fucking failing. Yeah. What's up, Isaac? Anyway, guys, we still have 28 points left. You know, ooh, here's 10% more. And also flammability, magnitude, fire damage, yada, yada, yada. Huge difference between meta builds and average builds, though. If you set your expectations a bit lower, you can still have fun. You know what it is, Nepity? I don't care. Like, obviously for content, I like. Who doesn't like meta build? Well, I know a lot of people that don't like. Thank you for the follow, by the way. A lot of people go out of their way not to follow meta builds, but for me, as long as I can play the game and relatively clear the content, that's all I care about, right? I don't want to build that can't do the content. That's what would drive me crazy. I'm fine, just planning to for my build an upcoming PoE 2 patch. Oh, nice, Isaac. What are you thinking about? You know, I know we're never going to get the skill tree early, but God, GGG, it would be so nice for noobs like me to not have to work with a what if board. Would actually like to, you know, like it, not getting the skill tree. I understand why. I get it. But you're penalizing the average player. The top players, doesn't matter. As soon as they get the tree on Friday, they're like, they can whip a build together in 20 minutes. It's the part where you die too much. Yeah, it's the part that you die too much. Like, it just takes the fun. Like, I've been there where, you know, like I told you, I was doing that build of mine I think it was kinetic. No, it wasn't kinetic blast. Can't remember the skill that I built. I framed the build around. Whatever. Elementalist for sure. I'm pretty sure it was. And between I didn't build it 100% properly, and I'm so bad at keeping up my resistance caps. And I get into maps and I start dying, and the combination of that, you know, clearly the resistant cap thing, that's stupid. You know, you could easily address that. Well, not easily, but yeah, you can, you know, you should be able to address it. The not knowing how to make a build, that's another problem. Well, 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 look who's crawling back the path of exile. Hey, Chad. Well, well, well. I could say the same for you, I think. How are you, Chad? Where's your boyfriend? 100% agree. The skills tree should be released early. I'm just against people getting early. Yeah, and that's why they don't do it, Nepity, right? You didn't miss much this PoE 1 League. I played the Path of Exile League. I just jumped out early. I just jumped out early, but I played 3.27, I think it was. Yeah, but Nepity, that's what they want to prevent, right? All the theory crafters, there'd be 1,000 YouTube videos on builds, and I guess, you know, they don't want that. Jump ship to play some Project Diablo 2. Ooh, nice. You just jumped too early. I got bored. I'm sorry. When I get bored, I can't fake it till I make it. I cannot fake it. I told you guys many times, I'm a horrible poker player. I wear my emotions on my face. You guys can see. When I'm not having fun, I get bored. And I'm out of there. I can't do it. I move on. I got bored too in the league because Breach defending is so tedious. There's a million reasons why. For me. Right? And I have to say, I'm a little bit skeptical about The Last of the Druids. But I'm also optimistic. It kind of sounds like I'm on the fence. Endgame is the endgame. Nothing has changed. So that worries me. But on the positive side, I really think the league mechanic, you know, incursion, the new incursion, I think it's being slept on. I think it's going to be a banger of a league mechanic. I really do think it's going to be like, it's going to surprise a lot of people how good it is. Defenses are a bit too punishing in PoE for new players. Honestly, hard to tell how much you actually need until your build is bricked. Yeah, defense is woof. I tell you, that's where I struggle. Diablo 4 Season 11 started before PoE 2. Ooh, yes! You're right. League was boring. League mech is the end game for this league. League mechanic is the end game for this league? Yeah, I agree with you, Chad. Well, we're going to find out. Also, they did make some changes to tablets and shit. Yeah, like that's a little sprinkle. Little sprinkle just to, you know, it's a little appetizer. I wouldn't even call it an appetizer. Like, it's a free drink. They gave us a free drink. Here, suck on that for a little bit, because we punted it down the field. 0-5 for endgame. Fingers crossed. You have more faith in the league mechanic than I do. You watch Riff Raff. I don't know. My gut, it's based on nothing factual other than what we've all seen. My gut is telling me they cooked on this league mechanic, and I think it's going to be very enjoyable, but we'll see. It's just my hunch. You need to beat the Arbiter to get the enhanced tablets. Correct. Yes. I don't care at all about making dungeons. Okay. Yeah. Your opinion. I get it. The free drinks. Woohoo! Free drinks. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Like, I have to say I'm really on the fence about this build, but I'm gonna see it through. Unless something earth-shattering comes out that, you know. But yeah, I think what Nepody was saying is true. Like, there's some stuff that we saw here, like rolling Magna, I think is
hybrid melee and caster gameplay. Most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam. While in bear form, many of your abilities use
Interesting to
rage.
see how many people
There are a lot of ways to generate
go
rage,
bear form.
but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more...
I guess the people that like to be tanky will probably gravitate to it.
devastating version of your furious slam. Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes. The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better. As you consume rage, your bear form will
Druid
generate
isn't gonna be
endurance
my
charges,
starting
and
option.
these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar.
Yeah,
Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor.
I was having the same
The more
feelings,
endurance
Chad.
charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special
as long
feature
as they
too.
don't copy
It's a
Quinn's.
meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear.
You're gonna play an Invoker to start,
Use the
Chad?
Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode. Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
Hey, Mr. Rusty. Your starter's Chronomancer.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the
Curses
fire
and
god
Shapeform
Cow.
skill.
Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like
Totem
if he was a
Slam,
bear?
Rage Bear.
Well, wait no longer.
Or
Finally, build up enough rage and you can
Cold
use one of the
Wolf
bear's
Minion.
ultimate abilities,
Nice.
Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear-pocalypse. Now the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams.
Welcome, Mr. Rusty.
But what if you
welcome.
want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle...
What is the wolf? Oh, it's got a special talisman, eh? So it's got Lunar Assault. Level 1. You're for sure gonna get the Bear MTX drop. Cross Slash. I gotta say, that doesn't look... The moon thing is awesome. That freezes, right? Lunar Blessing. Cold damage. The moonbeam converts 100 physical damage to cold. Impact radius of 1.6 meters. Attack, shapeshift, buff, werewolf, AoE, melee, trigger, cold duration. Cross slash is an attack that jumps you back. Yeah. Yeah, not my thing though. Definitely not bear. Not a bear guy. I don't know. The Wyvern is gonna be. This is gonna be hit and miss, guys. That's a level 9. It's a level 4. Oh, wait a minute. Level 6. Level 14, level 31, level 42. Anyway.
Battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have. So make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights.
I played enough Rolling Magna and Path of Exile, man. I really don't want
to regenerate your pack.
I don't, you know, I don't mind part leveling, you know, Rolling Magna. I know it's different in Path of Exile 2 in the sense there's, you can kind of, I think you can use the volcanoes, right? If I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Anyway. I don't think I would do an Rolling Magna endgame build. Like, just, we'll see. I don't know what my backup plan is if this doesn't work. Guess we'll just trash the build.
To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious
No, we're gonna
double
persevere.
Slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy.
This might be the longest time I get the end game, boys.
Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target.
Start out with Whirling
First,
Slash.
freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can.
Act 2 and then
follow up
swap
with
over.
Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies.
Hey, Daniel. Limit stacking is going to be cool this league on the Sork, hopefully.
If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish.
Yeah, let me know.
Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can
doing
socket
some
mark
sort of
skills from other
shape
classes
shifting with
into.
the Sork.
So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk.
I've been burned too many times
After
on
pouncing at an
Sorceress,
enemy,
so I'm gonna
Cross
wait.
Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time.
Moving with Rolling Magna
The wolf
can make
has
it
many
feel
other
less,
ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam,
Hey, Mr.
while
Rusty.
buffing your pack of wolves as well.
Wyvern plus
You can also use it to
plants,
freeze enemies that are close
water,
to being frozen,
and shock.
making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing.
Yeah, the thing,
In this
Mr.
form,
Rusty,
you
is
move
I
and
would
attack more
completely
quickly
have to
and deal
respec.
extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
Make a plant watering build. Sigrivalot! What's up? What?
All right.
Why are you guys?
Let's talk about the third form of.
Why are you guys saying rip D4? What's going on? Vines electrified? No, it's just, again, anything's possible, right? But I'm pathing to Rage and Ignite, right? And now you're telling, you know, to go to Shock, you know, would be a completely, you know, overhaul. Not that it's impossible, but because Blizzard suck. Because Sammy GG keeps dropping bombs on Blizz. Yeah, like, come on, guys. Like, I have to say, I was disappointed that they didn't fix the end game in 04 like they promoted it to be. But you cannot deny, to you guys, to your points, like, they're constantly dropping the mic. Every league, they're dropping the mic on everyone else. Every 2 months, they're dropping the mic. Like, it's unbelievable. Did Ellie add pay-to-win classes? They added, I forget what they call it, riffraff, but they did add a pay-to-play. Different builds. I forget what they called it, but yes, there's now a pay-to-play portion in Last Epoch. Yeah, Last Epoch has still a chance. Yep. I'm not counting out 11th hour games. I'm not counting them out. We'll see. We'll see. There is a new roadmap apparently with more details, but I haven't looked at it. But I'm not counting them out. And don't even get me going on the topic of Diablo 4. If you've been with me a long time, you already know my feelings on that. It's actually how crazy spoiled we are here. Even a 7 out of 10 patch makes us... Yeah, that's what I mean, Nepody. It's like, you know... It's like we belong to the best country club and, you know, they ran out of caviar that one, you know, the 1 month. And we're all bitching and complaining that all we have is, you know, roast beef and steak and salmon and crab and lobster. Where the fuck's the caviar? You said there'd be caviar this month. You know what I mean? Like, that's what... You're absolutely right. GG is just held at a high... Yeah, that... Actually, Sir Groovalot, you're absolutely right. That is another valid point. We have different expectations from grinding gear games. To your point, Sir Groovalot, higher standard. We have... We hold them to a higher standard. And then... So, therefore, to Sir Groovalot's point, we criticize them more because we hold them to a higher standard. True. So true. I was promised caviar. Oh, shit. 04. On the menu, caviar. Not. I can't take just lobster and steak. I need my caviar. Yeah, Blizzard can't keep up. Yeah, well, apparently there was another Destiny interview. And again, I've fallen so behind with trying to keep up to date just because of IRL. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of wanted to mentally check out. I kind of burned out playing PoE 1 and PoE 2, like, and I kind of wanted to reset. But anyway, there's a Destiny interview again, and apparently Jonathan, and don't quote me, but apparently Jonathan's like, I don't even look at AAA studios anymore. And I'm paraphrasing, but something to that effect, right? They can't keep up, and they're never going to. Games made by a committee instead of people that care. Yeah. Well, you know, Blizzard has the resources. They just don't have the priorities. Again, my opinion, right? Their priorities are just different. Blizzard's priorities are this. You know, grinding gear games, their priority is making a good game, and they know this will come with it, right? But their priority is let's make a good game that our player base likes. You know? And they know the money will come. Need the tree. Need the tree. I know, Gargison. I know, man. Like, I was planning on, you know, spending a good chunk of the night, and we did, on this what if tree in Mobalytics, but it's kind of like pointless. It's pointless. I'm looking forward to the new supporter packs. Are you talking about the MTXs? Because you know, you would have seen them here, right? You know, did you see them on the content reveal? Yeah, it's pointless. Yeah, I know.
That's of supporter packs. The Precursor and Calgurin packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive.
I've played all the classes, right?
As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression.
So it's a new class. I'm gonna give it a try. We'll see. It's not a play style that I gravitate
series
to,
of supporter packs contains
we're gonna go Wyvern,
exclusive
Wyvern Shaman, Fire Dragon. We'll see how it goes.
First up, the marble statue character effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment,
well, these
a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to
They're in the game
marble.
right now. You can go into Path of
When you
Exile
next move,
2
the stone crumbles
and look
around
at these.
you. The Precursors had mastery over gravity
Garrett.
manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it. Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the
you can already
awakened
get them
Precursor
riffraff.
armor set. The Precursors designed and built
And I'm
many
sure you know they'll
mysterious
work in
ancient
both
beings.
PoE and PoE.
This
2.
one used to serve as a scout that would patrol and
Going
tase
Wolf
intruders.
Druid Pack leader.
Why
Garrett.
salvage gear yourself when the
A lot of
master
people
the
are
Forge can do
going
it for you?
Wolf.
Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items.
Minion melee hybrid. No, they're in-game riffraff.
The
They're
relic
not
of
on the website.
Precursors
They're
map
not
device is a
on the
mysterious
website.
machine that sits
In-game.
atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets
Yeah,
used
the
in the
Wolf.
device.
Wolf is definitely
The
the more
Calgurin
nimble
pack series
faster,
also
yeah.
contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Calgurans had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the
Bouncing from
astronomer's
back
level up
to
effect
pack,
equipped,
summoning wolves.
you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat. The time.
You're talking about You're talking about that skill that sets you back. What is it? Lunar Assault? Yeah, Lunar Assault. Right? You go back. You pounce. Yeah. Interesting.
Taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of. Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Calgurin fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Calgurin seafarer needs armor fit for the treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a pigling.
We can compare times the level. No!
The Lost Treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true Raider of the Seas.
I do want that MTX.
These
I don't
gilded
know.
weapons can be applied to wands,
Gonna regret it.
two-hand maces, and shields. After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout, a home of some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast. Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a Kraken itself? Replace your stash
This
with a
looks
dormant
awesome.
Kraken,
Thanks for the
waiting for
follows,
its
guys.
prey. As you approach, it will awaken
Hideout
and
looks cool,
terrify
yeah.
both you and any guests in your hideout.
What if the
Alongside
supporter
this,
pack is a hint
an
for a
extra
boat leak
stash skin
next
item
week?
will be granted to you.
I don't know, Sir
And
Groove a
when
lot.
placed, will automatically
They
open
said
to
that
any
on
stash
another
tab set with the
league.
currency affinity. To help having to navigate
Where
through
we
your
had the
tabs.
islands and you took a boat to them in your
Additionally,
hideout.
Any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
There you go. There you go.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers.
Marks enemy pounce. Marks enemies and summons wolves. When that marked enemy dies, you can also socket other marked skills from other classes in the gem. Holy shit. So when you kill it, summons a wolf. God damn. I can see why so many people are playing wolf. Uplift a volcano from the earth, damaging enemies stranding on. While the volcano persists, slamming it will cause another projectile spray. Channeling this skill for longer makes the initial eruption more violent, but does not affect subsequent projectile skills. Yeah, but you can fly and breathe fire. Yeah, but how? Only time will tell. A bunch of new supporter gems. Character balance. Fate of the Val. Okay.
The palace.
Oops, sorry guys. Is this the
Palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
Yeah, you need the talisman to shake shit. Fucking wolf is quick. You guys are right.
Has many functions.
This is gonna be.
And with it,
what is everyone's thought on the league mechanic? What are you thinking? Do you think it's gonna be something we're gonna be able to sink our players gonna enjoy it? What do you guys think? I think it's gonna be. Bear seems quick too. Bear? Really, Garrett? I don't think so. I don't see Bear. I see Bear slow as fuck. You like the possibilities with corruption. But again, the Bear, I was saying this earlier, the Bear is for people that gravitate to, you know, you want tanky builds, right? You like tanky builds. You don't care about speed. You just want to be tanky and deal damage. Probably will play the mechanic more than the Endless Atlas. Yeah. You like the double corruption option? Yeah, there's a lot of good crafting shit that's going to be intertwined here. Yeah, absolutely.
Chance to save the Val. A gateway through time. Travel into the past again and again. Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets.
They figured out how to make the Titan fast.
You will be rewarded for your sacrifice.
Guys, we're going to be the Terminator. We're going to be able to replace a limb. Just don't die. I definitely will keep uniques, I find, and see what new modifiers I can get on them. Keep a lot of them, because, you know, isn't one of the mechanics 50% chance it gets destroyed? Terminator Gemlin. My second character. Am I the only one who doesn't care about saving the Val? Damn, I sound so... I don't know enough about the lore.
In the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do. It adores me. Come now, Give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
Sammy is now demonetized. Why? Why am I demonetized? You talking about copyright strikes? No. Oh. Oh, I see. The booty call. Got it. What's on the screen? Yeah. Naked. All right. Well, if that's going to get me in trouble, what are we going to do, guys? Wow. I guess I'll just stream on YouTube. Take advantage of the power of the corruption by using a special crafting mechanism in Lyra Val. Most of these crafts can take you back to Hido's tradable currency. The corruption altar allows you to add a second enchantment to your already corrupted, but beware. So you're right, Riffraff. 50 chance to destroy the item. Harness Val technology to replace your own limbs. Your arms, legs can be replaced. I'll be back. But if you die, you lose them. Corrupted Val unique item, replacing one or more modifiers with Val unique modifiers. So yeah, you don't. So for the uniques, it doesn't get destroyed. No way. Wielding ancient power. This mechanism will corrupt a tablet, adding an extra mob or more uses. 50 chance to destroy, yeah. For double corrupts, not on uniques. You guys were right. Yep. I thought it was more than one, but it looks like it's just the one for double corrupts. This mechanism will allow you to recover socketable sockets and equip. This is good. I like this. It's not a big, oh my god, but it's a nice quality of life. Get your ruins back. Using the device will alter your soul cores in unpredictable ways. You're definitely losing your limb in the very next map, I think. Oh my god. Some of those socketables are worth many divines. We might unlock the device in a hideout. Yeah. Well, guys, I don't think there's anything happening. Werewolf. You guys saw, I don't know if you guys saw, but Neversink got his information. Spoilers here. So all this stuff, they just dropped it hours ago. They prepared all the item filter information. So stay tuned, Neversink. Neversink is getting his info. Did they got anything new? Nope. Nothing new. Nothing new. And what are we? We are how many hours away here? Wednesday, Thursday, 2.5 days. That video by Ziz? What did he do? What's up, Ziz? What's going on, Ziz? What has he got? Power of endgame crafting is going down.
You have to lighten up with the doom scrolling. Not great for sleep.
If Ziz says it,
Hi, Zizrin here with
it's
another
so.
video, and I'm joined today by
Hold on,
Steel
let me turn off the
and
music.
we are going to talk about crafting in Path of Exile 2, and just
Wait a
yap
minute,
little bit about the
isn't
changes
Steel
and
Mage-
how Steel feels about crafting, etc.
Isn't he skipping it?
Thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here. Happy to talk to my friend once more. Obviously, I've talked with you about PoE1 crafting a lot. You know, we did that back in Necropolis, but obviously PoE2 crafting is not quite that complex.
Yeah, Necropolis was too complex for me. Steel
Nah, he's
actually had
gonna
to
play?
walk me through
Okay,
it,
yeah, I
and
was like,
just,
nah,
I
he's
really
gotta
struggled
play.
with it. And then we spent 50 minutes for one craft, and the craft failed, and I was just like, I fucking hate this. I hate everything about it. And it was definitely one of my least favorite leagues in Necropolis. It's just not for me. PoE2
Obviously
crafting is a lot
PoE2,
easier.
not so bad. Yeah, not so bad. Now obviously 0.3, we got a bunch of new crafting tools. I don't even know where to. I kind of wrote everything down.
0.3 crafting was on crack.
And I know I was one of the people who freaked out a little bit of homogenizing getting removed. Obviously, we do still have crafting despite my dramatic reaction to it.
Oh, wait, are you still playing the game still?
Yeah. Look, that's a whole nother thing. All right, that's a whole nother thing. But yes, obviously, Ziz offered to play Brosef with me, and I'm gonna play with my friends. That sounds fun, regardless of how I feel about crafting changes. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, anyway, how should we do this, my friend?
Well,
you know what it is, Nepity, when you're so. And here's how I think of it, because like Steel and Ziz have been, they're basically engraved in Path of Exile. One, you're talking guys that have been playing this game for fucking 12, 13, 14, 15 years, right? However long it's been, 12 years. I don't know exactly. So when they hear something that they don't like, obviously, and it might have been an overreaction, but I have to say, I apply that to myself, right? Like someone super fresh has only been playing Path of Exile for a couple of years. So total newbie. And I took it hard when it cut to Mark and Mark goes, you know, we would have loved to get to the end game in 04. But unfortunately, due to everything that we want to do, it's going to be coming in 05. But here are some of the change. Like it hit me and I'm new. I can't imagine these guys that have, you know, don't get me wrong, it's made their livelihood, but you know what I'm saying? It hits them a lot more. Yeah. It's like they didn't create the game, but it's their livelihood, right? They're thinking about their content. They're thinking about the enjoyment factor. And Steel is I don't know him, but he seems like a very genuine person. He, you know, and who knows? He had a bad day like I do, and you get a little bit more salty than normal, you know? But good for him that, you know, he sees it and he's going to play it. And he said, I'm going to play with my friends. That's a little bit of a backhanded jab, but good for him.
So we went from point 2, having virtually no crafting. It was just pick stuff up off the floor, hope for the best. And that was pretty much it. We didn't have
03
special
crafting
augments. We didn't have special regals, exalted orbs, anything. We just literally
so
was
much more
bare bones.
deterministic.
And then
03.
point 3 brought so much. We got abyss crafting. We got perfect, and what are the other ones called? Greater, perfect, and greater augments, exalts, and regals, and essences got changed, and omen drop rates got changed. Like everything happened in one patch, right? We went from being completely starved to like, here's a lot of water. Here's a water hose. We were just like parched. So
I remember the discussion at the time was PoE2 didn't have crafting, and when I told people we had crafting in 0.3, they couldn't believe it because it was so drastic of a difference. But yeah, I guess let's jump into one of the more easy ones that already exist, even if you haven't played 0.3, essences. So they got changed to now act as regals, guaranteeing one really good mod. Like it's almost like a tier 3, tier 2, around there level modifier. And perfect essences on top are kind of like the highest tier of essence that now also replace a mod with another mod. So that's 2 mods you can deterministically guarantee, potentially more, as we saw with the bow meta, with the haste mod, and the attack level mod, which I don't know if we saw what they're doing with Essence of Haste yet. But regardless, very powerful and still keeping most of its power. That's not really getting changed too much.
I was almost a little bit surprised.
And
I thought the
essences
perfect
are easy to
essences were almost like
understand.
a little bit too deterministic in some
So
cases.
everyone can
where in
should be
especially
able
on
to
items where you
utilize
maybe
it.
only cared about prefixes, but you had an essence that guaranteed a suffix with Essence of Battle, which still works, right? It's just nerfed now, but it's still incredibly strong.
It's -1 level, but that's it, which is still broken. Because I mean, plus level in this game is very powerful, like D2 levels of power. So you can still slap that bad boy on, still get a bunch of plus levels. I think it'll be 3 now on bows instead of 4, something like that. But very powerful still.
Yeah, so for those that don't know how that works, let's say that you hit a bow or a crossbow with triple percentage physical, right? Or triple prefix physical. So you have a really high PDPS bow, and then maybe you already have 1 good suffix or attack speed on it, or maybe you have nothing, like just dead suffixes, the item's full. If you use a perfect Essence of Battle, it just forces plus gem level on there. Which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably going to be the first real crafting system that people interact with other than just literally transmuting, augmenting, and alching stuff in the campaign. You'll find an essence, or you'll get a few essences throughout the campaign, and that the Regal version is most likely what you'll get and be able to use. And then combining that with Perfect Essence, that's basically two mods on most gear slots that you can deterministically make.
That's a good point, Nappity.
But let's talk about that basic currency real quick as well. Obviously, we all know about transmutes and augments and alks, right? You just add mods to gear. But we got the greater and perfect currency, which is really broken in PoE2, because in PoE2, not only do they drop a lot, specifically transmutes and augs, but the perfect mods basically guarantee tier 1, tier 2. So as long as you transmute and auging enough bases, you will eventually get 2 perfect mods on a base of your choice, which is really, really, really powerful. Combining that with the essence, right? You've got 2 good mods. You essence the 3rd good mod. If you're if you're crafting a weapon or something that can actually use one of those perfect essences, you're going to have 4 guaranteed deterministic mods potentially. Combine that with Abyss, you've got 5 mods, and now you're just RNGing 1 mod. So you can see we literally went from no crafting to 5 out of 6 perfect mods, that's like PoE1 levels of crafting almost, right? Just showcasing real quick, this item was made using, I believe, Greater, I want to say, but you can obviously use Perfect, Orbs of Transmute and Augment. So you just pick up enough bases, you slam them enough, you'll get something similar to this. Res and Energy Shield. So this is that starting point I mentioned earlier, those 2 good mods. So this is fundamentally, you pick up loot, you transmute it, you augment it, you get something like this. That's that ground loot that we were talking about earlier. So those are your first 2 mods out of 6.
To show them the tiers.
That 3rd mod, ideally, now obviously not every craft will work this way, but in this case it will. You can just slam an essence. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one. You could actually go for an essence of res, right? So you could potentially slam like chaos res on there instead, or lightning or fire res. But we're gonna go with that flat energy shield roll.
There's a place where this really happens.
And you can see, obviously, it's going to be a tier 3 mod. It's not going to be tier 1, but very powerful regardless to get a tier 3 guaranteed mod. Now, previously, what we would have been able to do now is we could have gone with an Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation. So with a double greater, and you could even further augment this by maybe making it suffix or prefix only. You can now greater or perfect exalt to add 2 mods that can only be defense or elemental cold resistance, right? So ideally, I would be going for suffix here, and I would do probably greater given the budget, and this would give me 2 suffixes with the defense elemental cold resistance tag. So this is going to give you something like fire res, lightning res, maybe energy shield recharge, something along those lines, right? Because again, it can only hit suffixes of these tags. However, this bad boy is gone now. Say goodbye, right? They still exist, obviously, but only legacy. So now, with the new crafting changes, so you can kind of see, we're kind of forced into just YOLO slamming. So you can still use these old omens still exist, but you're just going to have to send it. And you can see we can no longer guarantee res or anything. You got stun, right? Doesn't even have a tag, so you'll never see something like this with homogenization, a tagless mod. and that's kind of what we're left with. So once this item is at this point, you know, you have very limited options. So obviously we can finish it still with Abyss. Abyss still exists. You know, it's beautiful. I love Abyss. I'll see if I can find an Abyss thingy here. So we can still Desecrate, which is beautiful. Obviously, I'll just, you know, slam this on.
Go to the
and
well.
Ideally, we're going to be hoping for a movement speed roll here. We could even go for an Echoing, although I don't think I have one on me. But the suffixes are somewhat locked in. Now, you could go a step further and obviously go for the super duper expensive, let's see if I can find it, Omen of Whittling or Dextral Erasure. So this can obviously target suffixes or whittling, right? And if I show you what those do, you can see it'll actually show you, well, it's gonna target the Abyss mod because this is always the lowest, but this will basically allow you to deterministically remove one mod. And there's some tech very advanced on how to manipulate this so you can target a specific mod. I won't go into that right now because that's super endgame, you know, Fub Gun tier crafting. But that's effectively all we have. You know, we're going to have to just repeat this process ad nauseum until you get those mods you want. You can't guarantee good mods anymore, right? So 2 of those mods are going to be random on every item now. But the main takeaway to not doom here is that you start with 2 good mods, you essence a 3rd mod, you can abyss a 4th mod, so 4 out of those 6 mods are going to be what you want. So that's still huge. Just those 2 mods are random, as we saw. I actually managed to hit Fire Res here, which isn't even a bad outcome, I have to say. Just that stun threshold, that's the downside of the Omen of Homogenization. And like I said, no real way to restart that's no scour, right? So yeah, that's the mid-game crafting as of 0.4.
You didn't hear that, Isaac.
So you can kind of see where we're at. Another alternative is to actually chaos spam from a fractured base. So this is another alternative crafting method. You basically slam. Obviously, this is a 5 mod item, so you have to forgive me. Don't have an ideal base for this. But you would fracture, and you can see we got energy shield fracture. That's actually a really good fracture. We could then annul this down to 1 mod, and then chaos orb it, and we can just repeat this over and over and over and over again until you hit, let's say you're going for rarity, you know? Everybody thinks rarity is OP, so, you know, let's say we're happy with that hypothetically. And from there, you could then do some crafting
Not to
tech.
Jonathan.
So you could do, you know, greater prefix, double exalt, you could do some abyss, right? This is another alternative crafting method. Another one that was heavily nerfed, of course, by the removal of own homogenization, because obviously what we were able to do in the past, I think Ziz, you would have done a similar craft, is you fracture 1 mod, you chaos orb for another mod, you Omen of Homog 2 mods, you abyss 1 mod, and then you've only got 1 random mod, or potentially no random mods, depending on if you can use an essence. But with Omen of Homogenization removed, you don't have those extra 2 mods. So this strategy actually got more nerfed than the other strategies because it's harder to go from this as a base as opposed to 3 mods with 3 mods because this is 2 mods, right? So this method you kind of do just have to, you know, YOLO exalt somewhat, and then let's say you're happy with that, you can kind of finish it up. But yeah, so that's another method. You know, the old annul down to 1 mod, chaos spam a million times until you get something crazy.
That is a ridiculous
like
amulet.
You know. But yeah, this would be that's actually quite a good chaos spam there. But this is what you would want to do, for example, if you were trying to isolate a +3 level mod. Obviously, this was really OP craft with Omen of Homogenization, but now you'll likely want to fracture or chaos orb that +3 mod on the amulet or +5 mod on a weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the idea. So that'll be crafting in 0.4.
Ah, crazy.
And you do still have the fact that you have to pick up a lot of bases in PoE 2. That's very different.
Yeah. So that is what Jonathan and Mark were saying in the Q&A is they want ground loot to be how you get items. They don't want you to pick up a base and just spam it a million times, which is what we were technically able to do thanks to Omen of Homogenization. So it was bypassing that.
Do you not think that we still can that a little bit? Because we do still have like the superior socket items, things that drop, right? And we still can craft those pretty deterministically.
Yeah. So I have some notes here of essentially how this looks. So I'll just go over it real quick. you've got your early game of crafting, right? Which is what I was just talking about now. That's just your transmute, your org, essence, maybe an abyss mod, right? So depending on how vigorous you are and how lucky you are, you know, you can get 4 deterministic mods of your choice. Again, if you're using regular, greater versus perfect, it's going to influence the tier and how many bases you pick up, yada, yada, yada. But that's going to be your first basic level crafting that everybody's going to be interacting with to some extent, unless you're literally just buying gear, right? Which, to be fair, a lot of people do. The mid-game stuff, right, which is, you know, this is where Omen of Homogenization comes into play. Because Omen of Homogenization wasn't necessarily endgame, because I'll talk about the endgame crafting in a second here. But that's going to be your perfect transmute, your perfect org. You get 2 GG stats. Then you can do a greater essence. You got 3 mods. And then if you're very clever and you do the tags right, you can greater of homogenize, greater, you know, or perfect exalt, 2 more mods of your choice, right? Again, you have to be a bit clever here. And this is what Jonathan was saying about complexity. You have to be familiar with tag systems. So you know, you don't want to add a life tag if you want defense tags when you're homogenizing and so on and so forth. And then you just do 1 more abyss mod, and that leads to having a literally 6 perfect stat item. And this is what Mark and Jonathan were saying is 1 too convoluted and 2 too powerful, right? Because you can literally make perfect gear. And I will tell you now, it was broken. But I was personally hoping they would nerf it somehow, like maybe remove the double exalt system, because adding 1 mod with homogenization is not nearly as powerful as adding 2. Because it's a bit complicated to explain why,
but you could then achieve the exact same thing with 2 omens.
No, because this is why it's even complicated even for you, right? Because if you add 1 mod with homogenization, the mod you add can introduce new tags that can block the OP mods that we want to. Yeah, exactly. That's why you have to grade it with double. Yeah, right. But all these layers of complexity, personally, I love. Right, I love that my friend with 10 billion hours in PoE is like, no, it's still the same, but no, it's not.
No,
right?
you're right.
I love that complexity. But obviously, Jonathan's like, no, it's a bit too complex. But that's why I'm a bit disappointed by it.
They are
I was hoping they could maybe make it work and fit into PoE 2. Bit of history here, bit of lore. I remember at one of the early Exile cons with my friend Noogie, and we were discussing the idea of like, well, if there's no scours, right, and when you're crafting items, how do you make a system like that where crafting is powerful if you can't use a scour, if you can't restart, if there's no take backsies? And I feel like Omen of Homogenization is like the pinnacle of how that system could look, because I don't think it will ever get such a powerful crafting system in PoE 2 ever again. People might say I'm cooked on that, but if you've played around with them and you understand them, you'll probably actually agree with me, because it is that good, right? Yeah, so I was hoping for a nerfed version in some way. Obviously, GGG are smart. I think they could have made it work, but they decided it was cleaner to just remove it. They mentioned some illegal use cases. I'm not sure what they meant by that, but regardless, they're gone.
Well,
07.
So let's say that we were at 10% crafting in point 2, right? I think that's fair. Like, we had very, very little. And let's say that we were at 100% in point 3, right? We went from 10 to 100. Yeah. What do you feel we are at now then, percentage-wise? Power
40%, 50%.
You think we?
Which is probably where
that hard.
Yeah, we did. So the reason why is if you take a look at my mid-game example, right? You perfect transmute an org, right? And you do that enough times until you've got 2 perfect mods, and you're like, yes, I've got my, you know, tier 1 energy shield with tier 1 res or tier 2 or whatever, right? And you're like, yes, I've got my base. Then you greater essence, right? And let's say you essence another defense mod. So you've got flat, percent, and res. You got a 3-stat item. You can abyss for 1 guaranteed mod with Omen of Light, because Omen of Light didn't get removed. I was a bit surprised by that, but Omen of Light's still in the game, so you can deterministically slam abyss mods infinitely until you get the one you want. So that's cool. But that's only 4 mods. Now, Omen of Homogenizing was the other 2, but that's gone. So what do you do now? I'll tell you what you do. You either greater or perfect exalt with a double Omen. And that's just a blind slam. That's you literally just YOLO slam. So maybe I'm being a little bit unfair by saying 40 or 50%. Maybe it's closer to 65.
Yeah,
depends on the weightings of everything. Yeah, but the reason why I'm a bit harsh there is because those last 2 mods are a literal dice roll, and they're the only thing you have in your ball court is greater and perfect exalts, which I will remind everybody, perfect exalts are bloody rare. They're rare. I mean, I think they're like 10, 15 times rarer than a divine, something like that.
I haven't actually found one, but do we have Hinocore as locks in PoE too?
We do.
Okay,
yeah, we
I've
do.
never found one, so it's like I'm not sure if they actually draw. Okay,
Yeah.
so we
No,
do have
I mean,
that as
obviously,
well.
yeah, that would be one way of slamming mods on as well, right? Because you could do it that way. I haven't played around with them either because they are so rare. I don't even know how much they cost right now, but I heard it's some obnoxious amount of divinums, like 600-700 divinums or something. I don't know how much it is.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I personally am probably more of a fan. I do prefer the complexity in PoE 1 with that many options and the way divine crafting works there. But as far as PoE 2 goes, I'm actually... I love when we can get to like 80th percentile power deterministically, but then past 80%, it should be like pretty RNG in my opinion.
Yeah, I should point
So
out,
Ziz will
depending
be
on your
happy
point
then.
of view, when I said earlier when we were discussing 100% power level, that didn't include things like Val Orbs, Sanctification. Now we have double corrupts coming, right? So it didn't include any of that. I consider that 110% or 120%.
Same.
So
Same.
yeah,
I'm just talking about getting an item to.
They don't want to make the giga crafting knowledge, the uber crafting that only a handful of people or how a small percentage of the player base understand the giga crafting in PoE 1. They don't want that in Path of Exile 2. So, you know, I think they overshot. Look, who doesn't want 100% guaranteed deterministic crafting? But at the end of the day, it's not good for the game. And as much as we all want the giga items and, you know, all the affixes tier 1 and the giga roll like that amulet Steel showed, it'll just ruin the game. So they're finding a balance. They scaled it back. You know, it was almost 100% deterministic in 0.3 and 0.4. Take what these guys are saying. You know, Steel is more on the lower side, 40-50% deterministic, and Ziz is probably saying it's more. So we'll see. But whatever they do, it's clear that they're trying to put in a system in Path of Exile 2 that is not the PhD version that you need in Path of Exile. You know what I mean? In PoE 2, we need new bases every time we fail. Yeah, because we don't have the scour. So, you know, I don't think they're ever going to introduce the scour in PoE 2. I don't know, like, there's just some things that are a hard pass for GGG. Like, I was really taken aback when the question was a very simple one, and that is the auto sort in our stash tabs. And, you know, Jonathan immediately went, you know, Chris is going to come after me for that one. Now, I wasn't around, but I guess Chris Wilson had a thing about auto sort. Your inventory, you know, I guess we would just lose track of items or lose the value of picking up items. I don't know. I don't know the history. All I know is Chris Wilson has something against the auto sort button, and I'm like, really? Like, there's just some things, excuse me. I understand principles, I understand direction, I understand vision, I get it. But there's just some things where you got to say, that was 12 years ago. You know? Apparently, Chris had the same thing about trade. And they put trade in the game. So, come on. You know? And especially, we're going to be picking up way more bases, to Nepity's point. PoE 2, you got to pick up bases. Honestly, I'm okay with no scours, but I'd like them to lean into tiered items way more, or make perfect currency more on the latter, Nepity. I agree with you. They need to make them more common. The drops suck, like Steel and Ziz said. like giga rare. Like, let's go to his, look at this, right? This is his standard stash, right? This is his standard stash. Now, there's still a lot of remove onlys, so we don't know if he's moved all his currency over, but look at this. Look, you know, okay, whatever. These are not the big ones. It's these ones that are the big ones. Look. That just shows you how rare they are. That's a year's worth of grinding. 1 year's worth of grinding. And those guys play the game full-time as a job. Bingo. And you mean to tell me, look at this. Are you kidding me? This is nothing. 1 year. A guy that's probably got who knows how many thousands of, I don't know, could be thousands of hours in PoE 2. I got a shit ton of hours in Path of Exile 2 as well, but not as much as these guys. Like you said, they play it full time. That's nothing. Nothing. We may be back to early O2 level of poverty. I don't know. I've always maintained that the currency, the higher tier ones, exalts, you know, okay, the Regals, the Regal, well, everything, if you pick it up and, you know, go to the, I forget what they're called now because it's been a while, but, you know, if you trash the stuff, or I forget what the other term is for the Regals, you know, but not a lot of people do it all the time because it means your inventory's full. You know, I've been bitching about this since release. It stops, it takes you out of the open world. You got to go back to town. You got to get rid of everything. And you're doing it because you're trying to get more currency. Like, I'm a proponent of being able to do that out, not having to come back, right? But anyway, that's another subject. This is too rare. I'm sorry, until I see otherwise. There are leagues where I was starving for exalts. Starving. You know, you can't slam shit. So anyway.
You hit, let's say you're going for rarity, you know, everybody thinks rarity is OP, so, you know,
it's blurry.
Let's say we're happy with that hypothetically.
It's blurry.
And from there, you could then do some crafting tech. So you could do, you know, greater prefix, double exalt.
What's blurry, Mr. Rusty? Sorry.
Right?
The screen?
This is another alternative crafting method. Another one that was heavily nerfed, of course, by the removal of homogenization, because obviously what we were able to do in the past.
Oh shit! Did I go back?
Done a similar craft. Is you fracture one mod, you chaos
no worries,
another mod,
no
you
worries.
of a mod, 2 mods, you abyss 1 mod, and then you've only got 1 random mod, or potentially no random mods, depending on if you can use an essence. But with omnitive homogenization removed, you don't have those extra 2 convoluted, and
from 10 to 100.
Yeah.
What do you feel we are at now then?
Okay.
4 mods. Now, omnitive homogenizing.
We won with that many options and the way divine crafting works there. But as far as PoE2 goes, I'm actually, I love when we can get to like 80th percentile power deterministically, but then past 80%, it should be like pretty RNG in my opinion.
Okay, we watched that.
Eggs to the, you know, to loot, but I understand why they didn't want to go that route. They didn't want to go. They didn't want to rework so much of the itemization just around this one omen.
Yeah.
But that would have been one way they could have incorporated it into the game core while still allowing what you said, you know, basically bringing down the realistic items you could hit to like 80%. Because I think by here's the thing, right? If you can agree omnitive homogenization is OP, you can also agree we lost something OP. So if we've gone down from 100%, we are going down quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will hopefully get quite a lot of power from Double Corrupt, though.
Dear God, I beg you for patience.
No!
Is this your life all the
Sorry,
time?
guys.
Like I said, I consider double corrupting to be 100% plus. So
well,
it's not...
so I almost agree. I think of double corruption as plus 20%. So if you have an item that is 80th percentile, it can get to the equivalent of 100%, but it's corrupted now. Right?
Yeah.
So it is quite a big, because it's a lot more reasonable, especially for, like, we're going to be doing group fun, so we're not going to be getting realistically perfect items anyway. But it's a lot more realistic for us to repeatedly double corrupt 80th percentile items than it is for us to ever double corrupt a 100% percentile item. We're very unlikely to do that. So it does add a lot of power. And there's also use cases like I'm going Mythic Kitava, right? So all I'm going to need is ideally an exceptional base of the best white chest with like probably the regen chest maybe, or something like that. And then I want to double corrupt it. I want to double corrupt as many of those as possible until I have 3 good corruptions. I don't really know how it's gonna work, but
worth pointing out, the double corrupt only adds an extra enchant as well, because obviously you can't literally roll plus 20% and then plus 20%. I know you weren't being literal, but that is an option, right, to boost the level of mods. I think that's more uniques, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just an extra enchant.
Wait, can you not?
Yeah.
Can you not hit the on uniques, like change the numbers twice?
I'm pretty sure. Okay. Disclaimer. Obviously, it's all brand new. You know, I would need to double check this, and I can't do it right now. But I believe it's an extra enchant, so you could Valorb it first, then double corrupt it for the enchant. But I don't think. Yeah, I could be wrong about that. So don't tear me up too much. Feel free to correct me here.
Well, I think we just don't know. It would be cool if we can hit like the double percentage for some crazy uniques.
Yeah, could have sworn I heard that somewhere, maybe Q&A. But I could be wrong.
Maybe. I have been struggling to pay attention to stuff, so. There's other stuff that's sort of coming for crafting. We basically have Falborn uniques now, but it sounds like they're going to work differently than Falborn uniques. Because in PoE1, Falborn uniques specifically remove 1 or 2 stats, right? It's very, like, chosen. Whereas it sounded like now it can remove any stat on the item.
But I believe that functionality, or there was an orb or something like that, was for Val uniques as well, right? It's
only for Val uniques. Other uniques are ignored.
Yeah, so there you go. But it is still kind of tailored. They have they have balanced it in mind with that.
So wait, the thing is though, one thing I didn't understand, what are Val uniques? Are they only, because there are some items like Doomfletch Prism and Vertex that lore-wise, they are Val uniques. They have lore flavor text on them. Do they count as Val uniques for this thing?
I have no idea.
Because like Doomfletch Prism is a very unique, very Val unique item, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
All about the Val. Same with Vertex. It drops from a 0 in PoE1. Now it drops from everything. So I'm really curious what will
I'll put the mic over there
as Val uniques.
I have a bad habit.
I'm more curious what we don't know will count, because
I don't need
to say the Vertex will count. It literally drops from a 0, right? But
does it?
There might
part
be
of the green screen. What?
I meant in PoE1, right?
Yeah.
It'd be logical to assume it's Val unique, but there might be some uniques that were like, wait, that's a Val unique? So.
Well, they could have moved it to a 0 now.
What are you guys talking about?
True.
That would be
they
the
also did change the
Vertex.
Yeah, because they did change it.
There were a bunch of uniques that got changed. Some got buffed quite a lot. I
have to say, uniques were so keeping us on topic with crafting.
Oh,
obviously,
yes.
They are very clearly toning down the power of rare crafting, but greatly increasing the power of uniques. So.
Yeah.
No, it's your monitors, guys.
That's a W change. I'm happy with that.
It's not my green screen.
You know, they're not just taking away a bunch of power; they're putting a bunch back in.
I see.
The crossbow.
It's there's a bow in it.
For those of you who don't know, a bit of context.
Apologies.
Yeah, so me and Ziz were discussing our league starters.
I'll fix it by
GSF.
tomorrow.
We're going to play Bros F together. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised they didn't nerf Lament, right? It's a bow crossbow build. Yeah, it's a crossbow build.
They were in chat.
Actually? Or meme? Oh, God. So I was like, I'm gonna play that. That's so exciting. I asked this to show me the build on stream, and he was like, "Yeah, this said," and I quote, "This is my favorite build. This build was my favorite." And then now they just today, I think it was this morning, nerfed it. It's dead. Like it's not nerfed. It's dead.
Yeah,
they deleted it.
Fingernail
scratches. How the last lament worked. It's supposed to be like when you sacrifice life, it like reloads the crossbow.
Okay.
And since a life glitch stuff can't change.
Can I say something? Full transparency. So before I go live, I clearly check everything, right? I check, I go through all my screens, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. Now see how obvious there it is. Where is it? It's right. Can you see my mouse? Why can't you see my mouse? That's weird. Anyway, so that was there before I went live. So there's tape there, but the tape came off again. That's why it's back. So, yeah. Apologies. But I did the same thing. I went to my monitor and I was like doing that to it. I'm like, oh fuck, it's my green screen.
At all.
Anyway. Behind the scenes.
It doesn't sacrifice the life. Like it does make sense to be nerfed. I'm not gonna say it doesn't.
And your fingernails should never go anywhere near your monitors.
Yesterday, I'm gonna play that build.
Got the Jung Roan treatment.
Yeah, unlucky is what it is.
To be fair, it's funny because it's always hard to know if they saw you talking about it. And I know Jung feels like that a lot, where is this just happening because I'm talking about it, or if they were just planning to do it, because it is quite, in my opinion, an obvious thing to do anyway, but it's always a funny coincidence when it happens right after you show something off and then it's fucking gone.
Literally, yeah, well.
I think you can only do one limb, Mr. Rusty.
The most like that was the
gloves.
The gloves from Shrek. I can't remember what they're called.
Zenith.
They got insta nerfed. There was a viewer of mine that'd been playing it for a week or 2 weeks, and then he was really excited to show it to me, and I started playing it. It got nerfed less than a day later, and he said, "Sis, I'm never fucking showing you a build again." And he's been messaging me almost every league since, saying he's found some crazy interaction, but he refuses to show me. So it's pretty funny. So it does actually only sometimes get nerfed when he's been testing that as a theory. He was like, did it only get nerfed with stream?
The answer's probably yes. I mean, it is what it is. So.
Yeah. A good way for them to find out.
Okay, what else, guys?
Do you wish we could craft more on uniques?
I'm pretty happy with what we got. I honestly think it's insane that we can even influence the mods to a negative value. Like Fubgun was showcasing the new drill net quiver, and for those of you who don't know, after piercing an enemy, after piercing 2 times, it returns. But if you can corrupt it down to 1 pierce, it's literally Nimbus, because it pierces then returns instantly.
Yeah, as long as that's something.
Yeah, so we already have a greater functionality of a crafting uniques in PoE 2 than PoE 1. The negative attribute, which can be a positive in this case.
Yeah, honestly,
very clever.
That is something that I hope will eventually come to PoE 1, because I think it's such a cool thing. I always felt like corruption was the coolest feature.
5 flask mage blood.
I always felt like corruption was just the coolest feature, but it's also so risky, right? That would be worth it and very cool. But even if it only worked on some things, I just think it's the next evolution of corruption that makes things so much more exciting. And I actually don't think we'll ever see it in PoE 1 just because of the sheer amount of uniques, and there are even some trash uniques that would be completely game breaking.
Not just going obviously I just said mage blood going to 5 flasks, but there's something that goes down to a negative value that just does something infinite damage, Jung Roan,
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah, like just because they removed element of homogenizing doesn't mean there's not a lot of power. It's maybe just not in the system that I personally like. Although there is one thing that I don't even know if you know about, the Val Siphoner thing that comes from, we think it comes from Atziri by the looks of the teaser. But it's a crafting item that you put on a corrupted item to remove a mod, and it increases the values of the other mods.
Wait, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people haven't. It's on the PoE 2 splash page. If you scroll down to the bottom with the Atziri stuff, yeah, go for it. But basically, it's for crafting corrupted gear, but it can never be that good because it always removes a mod to do its function.
Adds a kill threshold to a corrupted rare jewelry item. When threshold is met, siphons a random modifier, improves the numeric value of others. Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't mean Divine Orb. I'm hoping that means it can up tier stuff. If it's just a Divine Orb, I don't understand the purpose of it, to be honest. But if it actually allows you to like up tier the other mods, it's very interesting.
Do you think you can use this repeatedly so that you can make a +5 amulet or +6 amulet, but nothing else, no other stat?
To go beyond the natural tier? I don't think so. That sounds broken.
Surely that's what it is. That you can have a 1-stat item, but that stat is very strong.
Okay, I didn't even think about that, but if that's possible,
that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I just assumed it was a way of sacrificing one mod to up tier the other mods.
The experience and knowledge of these guys is disgusting.
Be so cool. Because this could then be basically the functionality of Valorbing, but for a rare. Like, because you don't have a way to, like, up the numeric values. Oh, that sounds so cool. Because, like, imagine, like, a two-handed weapon. Oh, but it's only on jewelry. Do you think it exists for, like, others?
Probably not. I think when they do stuff like this, they do, like, to keep it to, like, one thing. So I'm assuming this is just jewelry.
You can't have sanctified and corrupted, can you?
No, I believe it's effectively the same tag.
Yeah.
I think it's +2. But we'll find out soon enough. Or maybe somebody in chat already knows.
Is there any big changes you would like to see Gurniger do with crafting right now? Like something you feel like is missing?
Well, so here's the thing, right? I am happy enough to do the double YOLO exalt thing, right? But they were very generous with greater exalts, but perfect exalts were so rare. I'm almost want to say they were balanced around the drop rate of how powerful homogenization was. So I would very much
you lose
Number
your
one,
Terminator
I want
arm or leg.
perfect currency to be slightly more common. Because at the moment, you can practically finish an entire character.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. But
one of them.
I'm under the assumption it's one limb.
I dropped one at 97.
Can't do multiple, but I might be wrong. I don't know.
So very, very, very rare. I'd like to see them be a bit more common. If we are keeping in mind, you are going to need to slam many of these to hit your item. So at the moment, we basically just can't do that. We're going to be doing greater results. Unless, obviously, to be clear, in Trade League, the economy will balance itself out a bit.
Yeah.
But regardless, I still think perfect results are too rare with how they're going to be used now after homogenization's removed. The second thing is, while I'm very happy with the power level of greater essences, I think perfect essences, some of them are OP and some of them are literally useless.
They're so rare.
I think I would like to see some of the
we were talking
perfect
about
essences
that
have
earlier.
more use case. For example,
I know what
a
you're
lot of them
saying,
have
but not
recoup as
really.
fire, cold, and lightning.
I don't think anyway.
I don't know why they're trying to push that so hard. Like it's just not that good of a stat. I think that could be, even if I think that some of those perfect essence mods need to be completely buffed or reworked.
Do you feel like the perfect essences are too focused on one item, like instead of like being different things for gloves, boots, helmet, jewelry?
Yeah, but it's also a good way of balancing it. Because the fact that it's specifically tied to one thing does make it a little... Because there are really OP. Like, perfect essences, the ones that actually do something, again, half of them don't, half of them do. But the ones that do something are really OP. Like you were saying, how you can literally just replace the suffix with a +3 gem levels, which is insane. It's just kind of weird that we have really OP ones, like plus gem levels, and then we have literally nothing for, like, the other half of them. It's just weird. I feel like they could maybe use another pass on some of them. Then I would be a lot happier. Just those two changes. So drop rate increase of some of the perfect currency, because it really is that rare, by the way. It really is that rare. I don't. Perfect chaos is even more rare, by the way. So it's yeah.
I remember finding perfect chaos. Found perfect excel.
Yeah, they're rare. They're really rare.
No, you have to buy
to give you an
them.
idea of how rare perfect chaos is, by the way, people will spend hundreds of divines on whittling omens, right? Which, for those of you who don't know, you can remove a mod with a chaos orb of the lowest mod level. It's a bit funny how that works, but anyway, they don't even bother using perfect chaos on those because that's how rare perfect chaos are. They're so much rarer that you can spend multiple hundreds of divine orbs on an item and it's just not worth it. Like, I don't even know what their use case really is.
Oh,
yeah, they're just so rare. They need to be a little bit more common if they're removing these really powerful crafting tools that they gave us.
Yeah.
And then the perfect. Yeah.
Also, at the end of the video,
That's just the thing. See, going more RNG is fine. Players will, hope spam that they're going to get the other two mods on their item. Because now it looks like we can get 3 to 4 deterministic affixes on our gear, weapon, whatever. But that way of thinking sucks if you don't have the currency to slam. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like if you have an abundance of the currency, then fuck, you're okay. Right? It's kind of like with our flasks, slamming flasks with Augs and Trans. Like, you don't give a shit because you got a shit ton of them. For a casual player, crafting is impossible. Oh, okay. You're right. Okay. I see what you're saying, Mr. Rusty. Yeah. I've never played Path of Exile 1. In my opinion, should be ignored, but I like that they were rare. Ah. Okay. Well, you're not going to like it if it's rare and it's less deterministic, the crafting, which means you need currency to slam the RNG part if you want a perfect item. Some people are willing to, okay, I got 1 or 2 that it's not perfect. Whatever. I'm okay with that. But there are a lot of people that want only tier 1s, tier 2s, and the mods that they want. They're not willing to bend. But anyway.
We're going to have some crafting examples from Steel Mage for those that aren't super familiar with crafting as well. But yeah, now after chatting a bit, just excited for the league now, a little happier, excited for Bro SF.
Nepody, I'm with ya on the accessibility for casuals. I get it, right? But you need the resources. Like if Steel and Ziz are right, and I'm sure they are, where 03 was 100% deterministic, right? 100%. Now it looks like, again, we're splitting hairs here on the number, whether it's 50%, 65%, 45%. You need the goddamn currency now. And they've said it, greater and perfect currency is very, again, I'm going to take you back. We go back to Steel Mage's example all the way in the beginning and look at his stash tab, of his currency stash tab in standard. Okay. This is Steel's standard stash tab. This is a guy that's played PoE 2 since day 1, plays this game full time. Are we ever going to get, can I find it now? Here it is. Okay. Look at his greater and perfect currency. Look. Come on. That is nothing. That's a year's worth of playing. Do I play hardcore? We have done hardcore in... Well, I've played hardcore in Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. We completed the campaign in hardcore in PoE 2. In Path of Exile 1, I have not gotten past... Like, I think the highest I've gotten in hardcore is 50-ish. Like, I don't think I'll ever complete the campaign in hardcore. I'm just... Yeah. But we did the campaign in hardcore in PoE 2. So yeah, I do dabble with her. I love playing hardcore. I don't have too much fun in Path of Exile 1. But yeah. Anyway. So, like, if we're going to need more of this to slam RNG because of the changes and it being less deterministic, but we're not getting it, then we're not crafting. Anyway. You can never learn if you can't use it. That's what I mean. And Steel and Ziz touch on it. Steel says it. You need it to make, you know, you need to improve the drop rates and make it less rare. So, anyway. All right, everyone. Look, guys, the screen tear is gone. Anyway, we're gonna call it, guys. We're gonna call it. It's late, and I got an early day tomorrow, and we are a couple of days away. So we're gonna continue pounding away at this, getting more information. We'll keep reviewing stuff as it comes out, but I appreciate everybody hanging out, and yeah, hope everyone has a good 0.4 if you're playing The Last of the Druids. I know I am. Looking forward to it. Yeah, have a good night. Yeah, one day closer to the thing. One day closer, guys. One day closer. League start is always like, ugh, such an adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? Just starting new. This is why I'm not a skip campaign guy. I'm not team skip campaign. I think there's a purpose in the campaign, starting from nothing, building your character. You know, I love the process. Yes, sometimes it's too long when you're doing multiple characters, but I think there is a purpose in the leveling process. Love how GGG handles their league starts. Yeah, and that's a good point, Nepody. The other thing is, you know, this is an issue that gets highlighted all the time when it happens, but never gets discussed when it doesn't happen. And that's, you know, launch issues. So, you know, long queues, DC, disconnecting, you know, hours and hours and hours of it. Now, GGG's done a pretty good job. Even the recent 3.27, the Path of Exile 1 league. Now, the queue, some people were complaining about how slow the queue was going down. But I got DC twice out of my own stupidity. And I was in the game in 20 minutes. And that's me getting kicked out twice because of something stupid I did. So people that, you know, got in queue right away, they were within the game. But there's a lot of people. But anyway, Path of Exile 2, outside of the initial early access launch, which was, you know, that was a little bit of a hiccup. You know, I think it's been pretty good. And speaking about performance, 25% increase on performance. So for you console players, you're going to see a boost in performance. PC players like myself, we're going to see. Now, it's gotten better. 0.2 sucked. 0.3, it got better. It improved. I wasn't getting DC'd. not getting a lot of freeze framing and all that kind of crap. It got better, and I would imagine 04 FPS is going to be better, and we're not going to, performance is going to improve. And again, across the board, console and PC. So they keep improving it every patch. So that's amazing. But anyway, all right, I got to shut up. Good night, everybody. Hope to see you next time. Take care.